Hello, welcome. Thank you.
Hello.
Hey there. Okay, it is 12 o'clock. I want to get started. We've got a lot to cover. And I want to welcome everybody I'm calling it a curtain call. We'll roll out one of these monthly as we're coming into more and more of the spring market and then into the summer market. So welcome, and let me close off this screen. I think we're live. Yeah, we're good to go. Okay, guys. So we are obviously currently experiencing a hot sellers market right now, and there are strategies to win in this market for buying a home. And we have Kanani Briggs. Thank you, Kanani, for jumping on today from our team here to share some of the top 5 strategies right now that we are seeing to win with buyers in this market. And we're also going to share some strategies to win as sellers in this market. And Kanani knows she's working with quite a few of you guys as buyers to get your goals accomplished. And also, though, we are seeing it's an opportunity for buyers to also maybe buy those properties that would be harder to sell in a normal market. So that's kind of the flip side. So I want to welcome Kanani to this curtain call, and let's kind of go through some of the top strategies that out there are winning deals right now. Like just bottom line, what's one of the most important things?
Yeah, so thank you for having me on the call. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be out there every day working with buyers, and I know a lot of buyers are nervous, but it's like Joanne said, it's a really exciting time. And when you partner correctly, and you can turn that kind of anxiety into excitement, and we are finding ways to win. And one of the top ways that we are finding to win is to do with who you choose as your lender. So you have a lot of options out there, just like you do for realtors. You have a lot of options for lenders, but it really does make a difference who you partner with. So all of this, in order to win, you need a partner, and you need someone who's in it to win it with you. And so there are lenders out there. We have preferred lenders that we work with that will partner with us. They're in the trenches with us. They're doing things, they're getting creative, they're being available, they're being flexible to help you win the offer. So it really makes a difference who you're going to partner with. So that's probably, I would say, the first one. But then the second one is also connected to the lender, and it's a strategy. So a lot of the things right now is about financing, shortening contingencies, appraisal contingencies, financing contingencies. So again, when you partner with the right lender, they can do a lot of the underwriting work upfront and get you totally approved. So that is a much quicker, faster process to get to the closing table. And that is very appealing to sellers.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Kanani, what we're seeing too right now is the time. If you have a great working relationship with a lender, they can kind of work through appraisals during a time where you might not want it to be contingent on an appraisal, and that's that kind of in it to win it that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Yeah. So they can get you set up so that you can close faster, which is appealing. But then, as Joanne mentioned on the appraisal, they can get a rush appraisal and get that all done in a due diligence period of time, which normally might have taken 3 weeks. They can crunch it down into 10 days or less, which again is very appealing to a seller. And when they're looking at 5 offers in front of them, those are the kinds of things that move your offer to the top of the pile, as Joanne will know. Yeah.
Right. All right. So now let's talk appraisal, because once we say that word, it is like, what? I'm not paying more than appraisal. So talk about that, Kanani.
Yeah. So I know. So it does feel a little, for a lot of my clients, they're like, what? I don't want to pay more than what the bank says it's worth. But what's happening is that the market is changing so quickly. It's changing daily. It's changing weekly. And the appraisals are not keeping pace with the market right now. So the appraisals are based on things that might have sold 6 months from now, and it's a totally different market than it was 6 months ago. So we try to educate our clients to let them kind of understand what that process is. And the home is worth what somebody's willing to pay. I mean, that is the bottom line. So whether the bank appraiser says this or that, it really doesn't matter. If you are in the market to buy a new home right now, you have to be ready to maybe bridge a gap between a lagging appraisal value and where the market is. And so we work with you to kind of understand what that is. We have strategies in place to kind of protect you from being overexposed or anything like that. But you do need to be prepared in this market, the wild, wild west, as I call it.
Well, and a big aha, a lot of the buyers are worried that they're going to overpay right now, but because the purchasing power just got so much better, if you had bought 4-5 years ago, what your rate was then completely outweighs the price you would pay with a gap of an appraisal, right? So paying that gap between what it's appraised for and what you know it's worth, that's a risk that with the rates is worth taking. So.
Yeah. And sometimes the gap is not that large. And when you're really looking at the big picture, so if you're not willing to do that, then you're going to have a cost in some other way. So the cost may be staying where you are, the cost may be more months of rent. There is going to be another cost that you're going to incur if you're not willing to kind of move with the market right now.
And that's funny because, everybody's talking about a deal. I want a deal. The deal right now is not the price.
Right.
The deal is getting the house.
Yeah.
Just having an under contract now, used to we'd see sellers with just sold and we're all excited. Now buyers are promoting, I have a house. Like that's the big trophy to be sharing. I've got my house. So just the deal right now is getting that property.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other strategy that we're seeing that's really effective, and I won't say it's effective across the board, but it is effective in certain situations, and your agent can really guide you on that, is writing a letter. They can be called love letters but basically talking about your family, talking about what you love about this home, talking about the vision you have for yourself in this home over the years. Sharing that kind of information with a potential seller, I know that for me has worked very well. Yeah, Joanne, I know you've seen that as well.
Right. So a lot of the offers will come in and then they start to all look the same. Yeah. When you have 15 offers on a house, they all start to increase, and then they all start to look the same, especially when all the realtors are knowing what it takes to get a house under contract. So we've had clients that really wanted to know what could tip the scale. Like, is there anything that would tip the scale? Like, help us make our decision. So the love letters, even some top agents around the country are buying personal second homes on water in the mountains, and they're doing videos to attach to their offers and their grandkids or their kids are in the video with their cute little voices. And what about a heartstring, pulling the heartstrings with that. So love letters don't have to be letters. They can be videos or what have you. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I love the video idea. I think everyone's, it just catches your attention and it's different. People will watch something faster than they will read something. So if you're willing and if you have, cute little faces or cute little animals or things like that, it does make a difference.
Right. And, we've never seen a market before where an investor can sometimes be paying way more than a first-time home buyer. It used to be split. The investors wanted bottom of the barrel pricing. The buyers would pay retail. Now there's instances where it's split. Sellers don't always want to sell to an investor. They really want a family or someone that just has some personal ties to the property. So we could talk for days about the love letters. We do have examples don't we? Because our clients ask, like, give me a model, like what do people do? And then we kind of can lead them through some of the good ones.
Yeah, definitely. And then the last strategy I wanted to share was something that I feel really proud about when I'm talking to clients, prospective clients, about the Curtin team. And it's the ability to find off-market properties. So because the Curtin team has been so well established in the area, we have past clients, we have connections, and we have a lot of opportunity to uncover homes that may be going on the market. It may be just someone who's been thinking about it, but not really sure. And then they get a phone call from the Curtin team saying, hey, have you thought about selling your house? We have a buyer. And all of a sudden, something that was an idea has become a reality. And now we have an opportunity to match up a client that we have with an opportunity that the world doesn't even know about yet. So that is a huge, huge win and opportunity and strategy for us at the Curtin team.
Yep. And, you'd be surprised. Not everybody wants, people coming through their house.
Right.
So there's a lot of reasons why people will want to sell off market. In fact, 2 realtors, believe it or not, connected with our team because they had information of properties that they knew weren't going to hit the market. So even realtors can bring us off-market properties for our clients. That's a real win.
Yeah, that's a huge win. And realtors have what's called pocket listings, and these are people who they don't want their home on the market. They don't want it on Zillow. They don't want this, but they are willing to sell to the right buyer. And so it's being able to make those connections and make those matches between what we know our clients are looking for and what we know our other clients have to offer. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So I love that you're on this call, Kanani, because I want you to chat with me a little bit about the selling too. But it has never been a better time to sell a property, guys. I mean, it's unprecedented pricing that's happening right now. So, I mean, is it even possible? And I'm asking the question, but I'm about to answer it. Is it even possible to sell your house right now when you don't know where you're going? That's the big thing. Like, do I even want to sell when I don't know where I'm going? So the next 5 strategies of how to win as a seller right now are on that topic. Like, how do you win as a seller? When we're receiving calls from the marketplace, everyone is wanting to strategize of how could I sell? I want to get into this great market. So there's kind of 3 categories when we're talking about selling. It's all about value. So there's not a one size fits all with sellers. Everyone values something different. And one of the biggest values that we are seeing out there really is just the money. Everybody wants top dollar and the most money possible. So the money piece is a real big motivator. That's the certainty of like what they're going to get out of their house. And then I'll touch on all 3 and then I'll dive into some details. But the next one, if it's not the money, the biggest thing they value next is kind of the harmony, if you will. I like to just say the harmony of it, like the certainty that they're going to be okay and have another place to go, not just squeeze, the most money out of their house, but they actually have another property to go to. So it's that kind of certainty of not just money, but ease into the next home. And then the last category is obviously a mix of the 2, right? There's a little bit more risk in squeezing all the money out and knowing exactly where you're going to go. But that actually can happen through some tools. We got quite a few of them now. We haven't had some of these tools for 10 years, but we have tools that actually can make both of those happen. So that's the fun part. So let's talk about the first one. So selling for top dollar. Why is that happening? Well, obviously there's multiple offers. There's just no inventory. I mean, I don't know, Kanani, you can probably give an example of just, how few inventory there is on the market right now. We used to just scroll down, and now if there's just 2 or 1 property to see, it's pretty crazy. So so top dollar just means that the strategy really is being on the market. Be one of the properties that are on the market. That's a strategy. Believe it or not, that's step 1, because there's just nothing on the market and multiple offers are out there. it will take a while to flush through all the 14 buyers that did not get the house, right? That didn't get the house. Okay, so the next strategy is also on the money. So for a seller to squeeze out the most money possible, they would, and Kanani, you've had situations with this also, is they would just need to rent something so that they can pivot when something does come up as inventory. They can jump on it and be a ready, willing, and able qualified buyer. So that's really the second strategy for a seller, is to be able to pivot because you've already sold the house and you're renting. That's a higher risk, right? That's not for the faint of heart. It's a higher risk client, but there are some people that it just is working out that way, and they can find something, or they have a friend who can give them a plan, right? A plan B is important in that scenario, though, because you've got to be flexible to know, what we can do there when we maybe don't have a property to rent, or if you could maybe, which is the next strategy, number 3, can maybe just rent the home that you're in. So that's the third strategy, basically to sell with requirements to just keep the property longer after you've closed. And Kanani, we do this all the time, right? The seller just wants as much time as possible to make a decision. So in order for a seller to win right now, they not only want a great price, but sometimes the best terms are in the certainty of having time to look for the next house. Right.
And that leads back to another strategy on the buyer side that I didn't mention, but to me, it's kind of a given. You need an agent who is going to uncover all of those things from the listing agent and the seller agent. You need to understand, maybe it's not the price that this seller is looking for. Maybe it's because they need 2 more months or another 30 days to get into a new construction that they're buying, or to find something, and that's going to tip the scale in your favor. So, again, you need to, that's another strategy that we have used on both sides, seller and buyer side, to help win.
Yeah, and yep, there's such great stories about how that really does work out well. Okay, so the perfect kind of harmony piece, which is what I just mentioned, that type of certainty of knowing where you're going, and selling as well. That is it's a dance, it's a finesse, and for everyone to work out that way, it's just awesome. And we do lots of deals like this, so it is totally possible. Just it is a finesse. Okay, so now what if you want both? You want the money and you want the harmony. Like, I want both. So our next strategy basically is to buy first and then you list your house. Okay, this takes a little bit more cash. You have to have a little bit more money. Maybe float 2 mortgages, be a cash buyer. Again, we've got tools that we could share with you, specific to whatever your needs are. There's actually quite a few of them that we haven't had before. But ideally, it would be to buy the property and then list your house. So that seems to be where you get your cake and eat it too.
Right.
Yeah, for so many reasons.
Yeah.
Okay, then our 5th strategy is also kind of mixing the two, the money and the harmony, is becoming that cash buyer so that you could swing 2 mortgages. So this is something really exciting that our team has been able to prepare clients with. We're gonna have more detail for this offline if you're curious about it. But cash buying is really the way to go, because financing and appraisal and all of those unknowns just kind of clouds up the offer when you're writing it. So at the end, I mean, the big win is just to be that cash buyer at the end of the day. And that's the way to have your certainty of harmony and the most money for your house at the same time, is to be a cash buyer. So that's a real coveted place to be in an offer, and the ultimate win for a seller. So, and we've, like I said, done this, hundreds of times, and it sounds very daunting and scary. But if we have the trust of our clients in this, guys, we can make the magic. That's really what it is. It's the blind faith. You might not know where you're headed, but if you trust us to pull you through, we really can make that happen for you.
Yeah.
So, well, awesome. Well, we dove down. I don't know if we have any questions on the call, but I wanted to just check our chat real quick. Okay. Oh, hey, Julia. Okay. All right, perfect. So I did want to let everybody know that we are happy to discuss details, you know, on your specific situation. Michelle Worley is at our office right now, and she takes a lot of the inbound inquiries of people that are curious. Hey, I don't want to waste your time. What do you think about values? Can we make this work? So we do want to respect your time and have an appointment about anything specific that you have. But Kanani, those are great tips. So I'm going to wrap it up with working with a solid lender, number one. Number two, waive the financing, and just have a lender that you're comfortable enough to do that with. Waiving appraisal contingencies. Okay, that's how you can win the deal. And by the way, just getting under contract is the deal. And then writing letters, love letters, videos, tip number 4. And 5, using strategies to find off-market properties. It's really gone this way, hasn't it? I think we're going to be in this off-market gig for a few years. Okay, you heard that. All right, and then seller strategies. So sell for top dollar, just be on the market. How about that strategy? Number 2, then rent so that you can pivot when something hits the market. That's a fun place to be. And that's a fun place for a seller to be when they receive that offer. The third seller strategy is sell with requirements for a longer close date or a rent back. You'd be surprised. It might not necessarily need to be a rent back. You might get full free possession for days at a time. All right, then the 4th strategy, buy first, then list the house. And the fifth one is have some tools in your tool belt to really come out with a punch as a cash buyer. So those are awesome. Kanani, thank you, hun, for being on this call and giving updates on where people can win in this market. We look forward to bringing you a new message again next month. And thank you.
Bye, everyone.
See you next time.